I just want to do a video on how you can be successful at building a healthy microbiome for your trees to grow in the soil healthy, in a healthy way, your tropical fruit trees. And the first thing it starts with is don't remove, don't kill anything growing on your orchard floor. Observe it. Observe it in areas that don't grow, you should add a little extra compost or earthworm castings, maybe a little hay, but don't smother it. Just make that your crop. This is your first crop, is your orchard floor. So the healthier it gets, the more variety you will get in there, diversity. And it comes on its own in Florida. At least here it does. I'm sure it does elsewhere. But if you don't have it, then just start adding a plant. Start adding plants in the areas where it's growing well. In areas where it's not growing well, it might be caused by compaction, meaning the grass it gets like 4 inches and that's as tall as it gets, and it turns brown. A pitchfork poked as deep down as you can go in areas that are like that, and then throw some compost on it, will help that area along. But I'm talking compost, not wood chips, not potting soil. I'm talking about something you know is a quality compost. A little pepper tree. This is a Luke's Garcinia. I wonder how short these Luke's Garcinias can actually fruit. Anyway, so then stay off of it. Probably can't do it in the front yard, but stay off of it, you know. This doesn't get very tall. This gets about, I don't know, 20 inches at the max. I'm lucky, I guess. But torpedo grass is excellent. Just start adding plants. If your grass is growing really aggressively, you can plant plants right into it. You do have to watch smothering. We plant small, like 2-inch tall seed-grown trees, because you have to inoculate your seeds in the compost you're applying to your system. This ground is wet and it hasn't rained in a week, but the ground's wet. And it's all about diversity. If you can get your first crop, this orchard floor, to grow and look healthy and attract insects, because insects come and birds come when you grow stuff out. In Florida, several insects, butterflies, they just show up. And then what we do, we've done lots of wood chips. We have a wood chipper. We have lots of trees. We've chipped lots of trees. But the saprophytic fungi is already in all the branches. So these little twigs and stuff, they're pretty much gone in a year. The logs, they are like half gone in a year. But it speeds up. The healthier it gets, the faster the stuff decomposes. And people complain about fungal issues with mangoes, and so they spray copper thinking it's safe because it's on the Omri, it's safe. No, it is not. You are completely paralyzing your system by doing that, even once. Can't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you want to, this is the old new way of growing. This is how stuff was grown for thousands of years by humans. And for some reason, all the information was wiped out or not stored, because these trees get grown like this in South America. So why it wouldn't work in Florida? If we went to a biological system in Florida, Florida would become Florida again. Let's put the Florida back in Florida. I mean, everything grows here. I pretty much have shown that everything grows here. And the fungal issues you get with mangoes, if you don't have your microbiome going good, if you don't have this cover, your first crop, this is the first crop. If you can grow this, you can grow and fruit your fruit trees. That's all it is. I really don't have to do anything, but I have some cows and I collect manure, so I make compost, because I start all our trees from seed in compost, 100% compost. I'm not really understand why people that grow in pots haven't figured out how to do it organically with tropical fruit trees, but I don't like to do pots. I don't even water my pots. I plant my seeds in the compost with holes in the pot, black pots, and the biology is able to grow the tree without ever watering them. That's sounds weird, but it's fact. And I can plant our little seedling grown trees, any of them, any water loving tree, directly into this cover. All this information on how to grow is in the soil. You just have to stop polluting from within and observe. It's all observation. We've never watered any of our trees that we planted in the ground here when we plant them. We've since connected all of the large grafted trees. Nurseries started, chemically started grafted trees. But I don't think we have to water them, to be honest. I really don't. In fact, I know we don't. So, and the fungal issues, milk takes care of that. You want to add biology, you don't want to kill biology. That's the whole secret to the microbiome, the sociobiome, the phyllosphere on the leaves. If you put a copper on the leaves or the fruit, you're making that tree so that it can't uptake nitrogen from the air. So on the very troubled spots that just refuse to stop holding water, I put vegetable garden in between my little seed grown trees, and I do that by putting hay, organic certified. You have to know where everything you purchase or put onto your biological system comes from, because there are so many pollutants out there that you have to ask. And because people just don't believe that their pollutants do anything, and they're feeding them to you. So it's just really important to know where your products are coming from That's why we're certified. So I plant vegetables in here, and then I've just planted bananas right there. And I plant little fruit trees in here now, and I think it's gonna be okay. So I planted a lot of brassicas. There's some kale and mustard greens and some lettuces. And you know, it's kind of the summer or the winter vegetable garden's coming to an end, but we still have some salad and stuff. And but I have ingas I planted in here, and right next to it is a DPI Gold, DPI Gold star fruit, you know, the best one. And this is Inga spectabilis. But what I've noticed, you know, it's all about, you want more plants. It's all more plants in the sand for this microbiome, the healthy microbiome. It's not less plants, it's more. I mean, I have like Garcinia dulcis right here. There's another one right here. This is Inga spectabilis. This is Garcinia dulcis. This is Garcinia dulcis. There's a Kolak tree there. Here's another Camito. And then there's more larger fruit trees that we've grown from seed that are doing well. So all these little stakes, these are little fruit trees. It's a Camito. This is a taro. So you want to just add diversity. So the grass and these are potatoes. You just want to start shoving stuff in there. The more, the better. This is ginger, heliconia, seedling ras sapote. It's not, the plants don't compete. The plants next to the tree is your soil microbiome. You remove or smother these with wood chips and snuff out the soil life at the soil surface and above. This tree wouldn't be fruiting and flowering, and we wouldn't get fruit and flower off basically all of our trees without spraying. And these black sapotes are doing something very interesting. It looks like they're doing drupes of fruit, like a mango, which I'd never seen before. This is Black Beauty, black sapote. But yeah, so it's you want the plants, you want all the plants. You don't want to remove plants. You want more different types of plants. And look at this under here. There's clover. I didn't plant any of this. There's clover. There's a weed people hate. There's something else. There's something else. There's grass. So I can see 10 different species right underneath this tree right now. Just in this tiny little area. That's what you want. That's how you create a healthy microbiome for your soil. It's so different than what they taught. It's the complete opposite of what they have taught. I think they're finally stopping to teach that, except for the hardcore chemical industry promoted college classes. But we don't need it, and that chemical industry is destroying other people's soil microbiome and your microbiome. It's not a hoax. Organic is not a hoax. Organic is healthy. Organic is more nutrient dense. All the truth is coming out. The studies are coming out. There weren't any studies because there was no money in natural farming. Nobody was making any money. So nature wasn't writing her own textbooks, and for some reason all the indigenous knowledge got snuffed out. But I think it's easy to do, and it starts from within. There's a little tree tomato, Tamarillo. And so here's our little seeds we start. And so I take seeds and I mix them all together and I put them in the compost. And it's weed seeds, grass seeds, fruit tree seeds. And like I said, we don't water, but this is a pot that I removed. So it's obviously soaking wet here after a week. And you can see that this pot is drying around the edges. That's what happens. It turns into like a little cake. But there's clover in there, there's grass in there, there's bread nut, and there's this. So there's 4 different plant groups in there, which is the knowledge that they're saying you need for. So you want, I know nobody talks about this because nobody grows in pots except for the marijuana people, I think, does regenerative pots, but they only grow their one plant in it. What applies to the earth, planting in the ground, also applies to your pots. Looks like maybe a Garcinia, a citrus, a bread nut, and I see some weed seeds coming up in there, some other stuff. So yeah, we don't water this. We don't water our pots. And so now what I do is I take these, I can cut the trees out, but I like taking them and planting them whole in a hole. Just taking the whole thing out like a big cake and planting them all together in a hole. So that's what we started doing. And it's just trying to keep up on growing the seeds, but thankfully we have trees that are producing lots of fruit seeds of all the good varieties. So this is Adamoyas and soursop, and what else is in there? There's something else. Sugar apples, chewy sugar apples. Anyway, I just wanted to do a video on my thoughts on how to build your healthy soil microbiome.